three gentlemen with us here today. I'll start off introducing Bubba Pettit, Charlie Hawkins, and Stephen Cheek. And they are better known in Kosciusko when they started off as the Crusaders. So now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Jackson and let her add a little bit more to this.
Well, each year we try to recognize, this year, alumni. And Miss Now came to us and told us about the Crusaders. And we decided we would have a group this month, to interview and talk about your days at Kosciusko High. So with that being said, we'll start out with a couple of questions, and I'll be honest and open and let us know some good insight on what was going on in Kosciusko High back in your day.
All right, so I'm going to start. Who was the principal, assistant principal, and counselor when you were at Kosciusko High School? And whoever wants to start can start with that.
I'll start. The principal was Raymond Mabry, and I can't tell you who the assistant principal was. I don't think we had one.
I don't know if we had one.
Okay.
I will answer. I'll give you an answer. Mr. Macbeth at one time was the guidance counselor, and then later on he was the superintendent. Yeah, did you know that?
He was high school principal, then the superintendent.
Yeah, but he was a guidance counselor at one time. But then he was, I think he was superintendent of schools. I know. And say we were next door neighbors, and this was, you're asking about historical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was in the time of the Vietnam War,
Okay.
and it was bad. And I remember Mr. Macbeth come to me, and you know, his eyes looked like they were about this big sometimes, and he told me, Bub, don't go to Vietnam and get yourself killed. And he was actually a real war hero from World War II. But he said, don't get yourself killed. Study something where you won't have to go fight in that war. And so I decided in high school I wanted to be a dentist. But he gave me, he was very helpful in helping me get a scholarship to college too. But I remember the way, if anybody knows Mr. Macbeth, his eyes were about that big when he was.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Mr. Mabry, yeah, he was the principal, I think, most of the
Yeah,
time.
junior high was Ernest Evans.
Yeah, Mr. Evans, yeah.
And what about the counselor? I remember you mentioned
Mr. Adams.
Mr. Adams.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yeah, we called him Papa Rabbit because he had big ears. So all of the students called him Papa Rabbit. Do you want a story about it?
Great stories.
We love stories.
When I was maybe I was a senior, but I was in did we have a high-Y club? We had a high-Y club. I think this wasn't the beta club, it was something else. I think it was high-Y. And we needed a sponsor, and whoever the sponsor was couldn't go, but they had this convention in Jackson at it was either the King Edward or the Heidelberg Hotel. And we couldn't nobody wanted, there were like 5 boys. Well, we knew we were going to go down there and have a good time, but we didn't have a sponsor. And so we got Mr. Adams, and he went with us, and we had a real good time. And he told us that was the first night he had spent away from his wife since he had been married. And he was a pretty old man. Yeah, he was a pretty old man at that time, but he was a really good sport, and he went with us, and I think it was a high-Y club, that's right.
And everybody had a great time.
Oh, we had a good time, but he was ready to get back home.
I love it.
Oh.
Well, I'll start with Mr. Cheek. Extracurricular activities. What were some of the activities you participated in at KHS?
Okay. Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah, I played baseball my senior year and junior year. And then I was in the high school band from the 8th grade up.
Okay.
So that was a big part of my life.
Well, can you tell us like one outstanding moment in one of those activities that you cherish or you remember?
Well, as I maybe stated earlier, was that everything was around the band, and it was, we had concert band every morning. And Johnny Sides from Kosciusko, he played flugelhorn, he sat behind me, and he had a little bitty triangle that he would ding right in the middle of one of the songs we were playing. And Mr. McCauley, our band director, would stop everything and say, "Did you hear this?" And nobody would say anything. He had started back again, and probably the third symphony or whatever it was, he heard his little ding again. And it went all semester. He never figured out what was going on, never found that little ding. But it was, he stopped that band 20 times. But that was funny, and that kind of stuff went on all the time in the band.
Wow, wow.
Fun time.
Fun times. Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Mr. Hawkins?
I guess.
Tell us what activities first.
Well, I played football, and I was in the band.
What position in football?
Defensive tackle,
Woo.
nose guard tackle.
Uh-oh.
Fun time.
I never was worth a flick.
But you got an A for effort.
No, I ain't getting an A. I never got an A. But high school football and in the band.
Okay, and one memory, fun, just one moment that you can remember.
Well, I guess I used to have just uncontrollable nosebleeds. I mean, I would almost bleed to death. And Mr. Mabry, the new principal, he was new. He'd just come in, and I had one of my notorious nosebleeds, and I went to him to get signed out, and blood was running, it saturated the handkerchief, was running down my elbow, and he was kind of weak over blood. He said, "Look," when I got back in, he says, "Look, anytime you have a nosebleed, don't look me up, just leave." And get somebody to take you, to drive you. So I had an automatic pass, all I had to do was sneeze. And I had an automatic pass to fool around. So,
I love it.
I guess that was one of my memories, that I had an automatic pass to get out and have a friend drive me around with. Now you know one of the reasons I never made A.
Great. All right, Mr. Pettit, what extracurricular activities were you?
Well, my daddy was an outstanding football player. And so I came along, I needed to play football, and I was not worth a flying flip. So when I played through the 10th grade, and in the 10th grade, I was 130-pound center.
Oh,
And
wow.
anyway, I read somewhere that guys that were in rock and roll bands were getting more women than guys than after. Yeah, in the Beatles and the Stones and Herman Dog, and it was basically, man, women are going crazy. So I said, throw him this football. And so I didn't go out for football after my 10th grade. I wound up being in bands off and on, rock and roll bands off and on for, I think, over 45 years. So I won't say I made a living out of it, but I had a pretty good time with it. But I was in the Beta Club.
Okay.
I was president of the Beta Club.
Wow.
And this is a good memory. Ms. White, Margaret White, your great aunt.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Margaret White was the Beta Club sponsor. And for years, the Beta Club would have a big convention in Jackson, and it was big doings. And they would have this little talent competition, maybe 8 or 10 of the towns. I mean, people came all over the state. Ms. White had won it maybe several years in a row, the Kosciusko Beta Club. She would have some sort of little talent thing. So we had one that was going to be like a can thing. It was maybe 7 or 8 minutes long. We had girls dancing. They weren't in Beta Club, y'all didn't go. But I was not. I think the only guy in the Beta Club maybe me and Jerry and Jimmy Lewis and my grade. But they had this little band. They had maybe a 7 or 8 piece little band to play music for the Can-Can girls. They didn't have a drummer. Well, I was not in the band, but I could play the drums halfway, not very well at all, but I could play them, and I played on Charlie's drums because we played in a rock and roll band together. So I told Miss White I could play the drums, and I had to get Charlie. So I got him set up, and Charlie he probably outweighed me, about 70 or 80 pounds in high school. So not only did I borrow his drums to play in the band, and by the way, we won the first place. And, but I borrowed his uniform. You know, we played in Kosciusko band uniform, and so I played the drums, and it got to one part where the music shut down, and I had to do, what do you call it when you go around the drum?
A row.
A row. You know, just me sitting in front of several thousand people, and I never played the drums in front of anybody in my life, but I had to do this drum roll in front of all these people, and I did it fine, man, because I've been in show business all my life. I did it fine. But the big deal was that I wore Charlie's uniform, and he outweighed me 60, 70, 80 pounds. And lo and behold, we won the first place competition. So I had to get up out of my seat to go accept the trophy. And I said, oh gosh, all I can do is my britches, my whole clothes are going to come on. So I grabbed my britches and my coat with one hand like this and walked up in front of all those people and I accepted the trophy in the other hand and got back. But I was more nervous about my britches falling down my ankles than I was about playing that drum roll. But we had a good time. We had a good time.
That's good stuff. Good stuff for real.
Now they're making us think things that...
Yes, that's what we want to do.
That's so good. Oh, me. Ooh, that was pretty good. What grade did band start? You said you started 8th grade band.
Yeah,
Is that the-
high school, most people got it 9th, I started 8th, got lucky.
I started in 5th.
No, we're talking about high school band or band.
Well, high school
Bands-
band and just band. I
Band
guess.
started 5th grade,
Okay.
yeah, you learn, yep.
5th grade. We started 6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Let's see. We talked about your extracurricular activities and fun memories. I'll start back with you, Mr. Pettit. In high school overall, from 9 through 12, what was one memory that just kind of stood out and you'll never forget? And if you had a class reunion today, you tell it.
Oh, I might think of some more, but I remember that T-Bo Oliver, Stephen Oliver, Owen Oliver, Ben Oliver's brother, he died a couple of years ago. But he gave Ms. White, I was a year ahead of them, Stephen and I a year ahead of Charlie, but we had the same, I guess it was world history, U.S. history class together. And T-Bo was in that class, and he gave Ms. White fits. And it was not uncommon for her to come back from lunch and T-Bo would be sitting in her chair up at the front of the class drinking her coffee.
He would get her thermos, undo it, pour himself a cup of coffee out of, use her top.
I gotta give you another one. We had another one, Ms. Ricketts, and I don't think she had any family here anymore, but we had her for 8th grade English, and it tells you how you still use people's expressions. But Ms. Ricketts' expression was, children, settle quickly. Do you remember that? Settle quickly, settle quickly.
Settle quickly, children.
Children, settle quickly, settle quickly. We would count the number of times. Like Chick would do it one time, and I'd go, how many times did you say settle quickly during the course of a class? But I have dogs. I have 6 beagles, and when I go out to see them, they start barking. To this day, I still tell them, settle quickly.
So you say it for the week of slower.
Grandchildren there.
Settle
Seven
quickly.
grandchildren.
I like
Oh,
that.
Miss Ricky,
I like
good.
that.
Oh, she was.
I like that. What about you, Mr. Hawkins?
A memory, gosh, that kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but I guess one of them that was entertaining that just pops in my head was that Mr. Adams he was a beloved member. The kids loved Mr. Adams, but we also liked to play tricks on him. But,
And Mr. Adams was the counselor,
he was the
right?
counselor.
Oh,
We did love him.
Papa Rabbit.
Yeah, called him Papa Rabbit. Such things that he had to mash the garbage, he had to mash the milk cartons down in the can. He'd be behind this plywood thing, shove your tray in there, we'd throw our tray in it, make him miss it. But poor Mr. Adams, he was administering a test, and we had to move a grand piano. And he got several of us to move the piano. And so we were at the old band hall, and we moved that piano down the hall, and Mr. Adams was backing up, trying to slow us down, and we were speeding up, and we got it almost a dead run until we got to the weather stripping at the door, and we'd already taken the centerpiece out, and unfortunately the leg broke off the piano. And we let poor Mr. Adams standing there, and he said, "Boss, we got to have some," and we were just talking, trying to figure the situation out. Poor Mr. Adams standing there holding that piano up like. But we did love Mr. Adams, even though we picked on him, we did love him and did respect him.
All right, Mr. G.
Are you gonna top that?
And you gonna top
Here we go.
I got one. I guess it was the 11th grade, Miss Coleman. Her husband used to be the superintendent of Kosciusko. She was teaching us history, and for some reason, our assignment was to read a book within a few weeks, okay? I was not one that read books at all. Well, I went to the library and I picked out one, me and her. It was about this thick. And of course, everybody knew that was not me. Okay. Well, anyway, I did, as it got closer within a few days, I still did not even start a book. Maybe you read in class a little bit, but it was not me at all. And so anyway, about the night before, it was my turn. Oh, you had to give a review on it yourself. You know, you had to get up in front of the class and give a report on it. So I had a friend, named my brother-in-law, Wayne Halbrunner, and I called him. I said, "Well, hey, what am I going to do?" He said, talking about the book I had. He said, "Well, I saw the movie." I said, "You did?" He said, "Yeah, I saw it a couple of years ago. You lived in Oklahoma at the time." I said, "Tell me about it." So he told me everything about the movie he could remember. And remember, he's in the 10th, 11th grade too. And so anyway, I wrote this, man, I had it all out. Well, it's my turn to get up and talk. I got up, my book's being heard by, I don't remember who wrote it. And so anyway, I got up and I went through this lady's story. I mean, I had it down. Everybody was just going, wow. I said, "This is a great book. I recommend you reading the book." And Miss Coleman said, "Stephen, that was good, but I don't remember some of those parts." She said, "Did you really read the book?" And I said, "No, ma'am." She said, "Well, where'd you hear the story?" And I said, "Of course, Wayne's in the back of the room." Wayne told me the story. I saw in the movie. You know, I did not get an F on that. She gave me something like a C.
Wow.
So anyway, that was a pretty big ball, but something I should not forget. Never have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Who was the most influential school personnel and why?
Macaulay would be me in high school band, yeah, because, you know, he just shows a lot about, you know, discipline and stuff like that, and music, and that was important to certain people, and I liked it. So I'd say John Collins.
Okay.
most influential? Gosh, I had several. But John McCollum was definitely one of mine, if not the most. And I thought a lot of Raymond Mabry. Mr. Mabry was very influential on me. And I liked him a lot. And Mr. Macbeth also. Even to this day, I like to visit Mr. Macbeth. So I'm gonna say those three.
Okay,
And I don't wanna forget Miss Annie Smythe in the first grade. A lot of people forgot her, but she was a dear, dedicated, true blue, Kosciuskoan that, loved her children. I would like to throw her in that mix.
When you say it,
Mhm.
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree. All right, Mr. Pettit.
I hope we're ready for this.
Well, in the, I think it was the 6th grade that I had Miss Tia, Elizabeth Tia. And she said, we cannot call you Bubba anymore. You are too old to be called Bubba. We're gonna call you Otho. So she called me Otho, and I guess I was her class pet, but I didn't act right one day, and, well, a lot of days, I'm sure, but she carried me behind the bookcases, what they had, you go, she'd take somebody behind the bookcases, and she carried me back there to give me a pattern, and she hit herself 3 or 4 times, and said, I can't spank you, Otho. I like you too much, I can't spank you. And so, being a stupid 6th grader, I went out and told everybody that I didn't really get spanked. It's spanked. So the next day I got a real. and I would say Mr. Macbeth because he did. He said he called me Bubs and Bub. And you got to go to college. You got to study. You got to study hard. Study is good. Get something. Don't get yourself killed. Your mom and daddy liked it too much. So, and he helped me get a scholarship. I was probably going nothing against Holmes Community Junior College at that time, but I wanted to go to senior college, but I didn't have any money. But I used as a pickup line with girls that I was going to Harvard, because at that time Harvard I wasn't really serious. But I would tell everybody I was going to Harvard, and but I didn't have enough money. I don't know if I could come home, but Mr. Macbeth helped me get a real nice academic scholarship to Ole Miss, and I've been saying hotty-toddy ever since.
Absolutely.
But I would say the teacher that Miss Jordan, Flora Mae Jordan, she taught us math, and there, for a long time, Kosciusko produced a lot of kids, I guess they're mostly boys, girls didn't go to med school and those, but we produced a lot of doctors from this, from this school. And Ms. Jordan, if you took all of those classes, trig and all that stuff, geometry. I mean, she would make you think, and she would start out. You could smell that Listerine on her when you walk by her desk in the morning. But in the afternoon, she would have chalk all over her face. Did y'all take her?
And then when we had her, she had the blue ink all down her. Oh yeah, we went through it too. Absolutely.
She made us think. Did y'all take her? Did you take her?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, she's my homeroom teacher also. I should have named her, I just didn't think.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were in the advanced math. I know a guy that just read one book and can't go back in advanced math. But anyway, so when we took the ACT, I knocked the top out of the ACT in math, and that's why so many kids from here went to med school or on graduate work, because they knew that math. Boy, we were gonna do high on that thing, so I really like Miss Jordan. Had some good ones, I ain't singled any of them out.
Okay.
Ms. White was mighty good.
Okay, I hope y'all are ready for this one. If your teachers were to describe you in high school, what words would they use? I'll start with
Nut.
you. Good. Okay. Well,
Weedy. You know,
Yeah.
it's just fun, I think.
Had
Yeah.
fun.
I had fun in high school. I really
Absolutely.
did.
Charlie?
I'm gonna say likable, but not very studious.
Okay,
Not very studious at all, or lazy.
okay,
Not living up to my potential, but that's how they would describe me, I think.
okay. Bubba?
Well, in our class, we only had 3 guys that were in the beta club or whatever, advanced math program. But, and that was Jimmy Lewis, who's real smart, went on to med school, and we never see him anymore than Cherry Pettit, and he died. I think Jan Bailey wound up studying, but we didn't have many guys that were, that really tried to make good grades. So I was one of the 2 or 3 who tried to make good grades. So most of my teachers just thought I was, by high school, they thought I was wonderful. Was it you who said the teachers think I was one way and I was like Eddie Haskell? You know, that I thought I was great.
Okay, good enough.
I have to say, Eddie Haskell was my hero growing up. I loved him.
That's a good start.
Gee, Mrs. Cleaver, you look nice today.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start with you, Mr. Hawkins. What academic, athletic, or any kind of award did you receive while at Kosciusko High School?
Gosh, probably nothing. My diploma, that's about I remember, I broke up my mama's bridge club when I passed senior English. And so I was gonna graduate. So as far as academic awards, I don't think I got any.
I didn't give you academic, but I got a lot of, you did too, band medals.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So,
You got superiors most of the time in high school.
so you two would say that being in the band, even though you didn't get the academic, like probably Bubba's fixing to tell us he got, band was one of the biggest
Yes, it was, definitely.
for you.
It was, yes.
Wow.
Good deal.
And Superior, how many, did you receive that during your whole entire time at Kosciusko High School?
We
Those
made
Superior-
1, 2, I think, and we thought the world was coming to an end.
Oh, I bet.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Y'all set a great foundation.
Well, that is one thing that we have found out while studying the history and raising money and doing the Skipworth Center through KFED. That's what we have really found talking to different alumni of KHS is the importance, the Big Red Band, and of course I know it wasn't Big Red in the beginning, but the band program at Kosciusko, just the influence that has had for so many people's lives.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all are just reiterating that,
Yes, it
coming back
definitely
to
was.
this.
I mean, you got a scholarship, you were basically to a senior college or a junior college
Right.
if you were in the band because it was just so well structured
Wow.
and, appreciated by so many other bands.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's pretty
Wow. That's awesome.
Let me say something about the band. Gail and I went to Mississippi State about 2 weeks ago, and they dedicated, we were invited to the Kent Sills Band Hall dedication. And I could tell you when I've been to Mississippi State, but most of the people there were band directors. But the president of Mississippi State, Mark Keenan, very impressive man, and he got up and he gave a little speech, and he talked about how the Kosciusko High School Band in 1952 went to Washington and New York City, and Kent Sills and his wife Nora Pilot Sills were in that band, and Mark Keenan's mother. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
She
Wow.
was- all 3 of those
I didn't
people
know.
were in that band, and they were talking about and I told Gail, I said, why in the world, we just need to do something to send our men on a similar trip. I think it would be great, but it was really good, and he had a big crowd. He was telling his own story too, but it was about Kosciusko and the band and all these other people talking about what the band, and I never was in the band, so, but I will, I'm jumping off here. I'm gonna tell you something. Did you know there is a Billy Brooks band scholarship at the University of Mississippi? It's like $130,000, and it gives 4 kids a year on average, like $1,000 scholarship. And the band director at Ole Miss called me the other day and said they need a little more money for some other kids, and we sent them some more money. And that money is now at home where it ought to be. It's managed by KFEE. And so that's, Billy Brooks was 3 years younger than us, but his mother donated that money in his memory and honor. And it's set up primarily for band students from not just Kosciusko, but Tyler County who go on this. It can be used for other kids, because we don't have that many, but we've had several students from our band that have gotten that scholarship. And hopefully it'll get bigger and add more money.
Wow.
So, anyway, but that's,
I didn't know, that was something I heard about, but I wasn't as familiar with it.
I
That's
found out
awesome.
when we had that KFAE event
Yeah.
in Oxford, when everybody was there, that's when I
yeah,
found
yeah,
out.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's good,
that's-
but the band, I wish I'd been in the band. I could have
You were
amounted,
studying.
maybe I could have amounted to something.
You were
I don't know.
studying, that's
You
what
were
it was.
studying, so
I
with
was
that,
studying.
tell us
You were
about,
working on your band and club
course.
I
starts.
wasn't reading a book. If I could get hold of Wayne Alburner, I'll tell you. I was kidding.
so tell us about any awards you received while at KHS.
Well, I did get an academic scholarship. I got to Ole Miss, and then I got the Hamilton Manufacturing Company scholarship too. It was you could use it wherever you went to college. So I got that 1 year, and then I got the Ole Miss thing for 4 years, and that helped an awful lot.
Great.
Any other awards? Gosh, I don't know that I can think of, but I did get a couple of scholarships.
All the other awards came through our band.
Oh,
The what?
yeah.
Our other awards came,
Through the band.
trophies came through our band, the Crusaders.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we had
let's
several
kind
those.
of, let's kind of jump off in that. Let's talk about your band, the Crusaders. Tell us, could you give us a brief history of how it started, how y'all got together, and what kind of impact did that band have on your lives?
Well, I think myself, I started playing guitar in about the 8th grade, another classmate, and then around the 9th grade, I was in study hall with Charlie. He was in the 8th grade, and he was interested. Again, we were in the band, and he played drums. He wanted to get a trap set, which is a drum set, and so that was kind of the beginning. And so that moved into us having probably our first little dance. We played for some 6th graders at the Jason Niles Park. Pavilion, yeah, that's right. And I was telling before, we knew about 7 songs, part of 7 songs. Nobody could sing. And of course, we were just interested in music. I thought we're doing good to do that. And so anyway, that night when we were playing, Bubba walked in with his group of guys. I know a couple of friends. And we did have a microphone. The only microphone we had was one that came basically out of a police car. One you kind of push it on. And Bubba, we said a couple of the songs we played did have lyrics to them, but we didn't know them. The Ventures and stuff like that were songs that played just mostly musical stuff. Instrumentals. And we asked Bubba, he wanted to sing, of course, he may have asked us. I don't know. So anyway, he did get up and made it through it, and we realized at that point that this may work. And so, well, anyway, after that, it was Charlie, myself, Bubba, and Lewis Carter, and Danny Gozer was also playing with us at the same time. And he was one of the ones that played guitar with me in the very beginning. And so it built from there. And every day after school, we practiced and stuff like that. And then we got a little dance from the 6th graders, I think, a group of them. And then we were ready to go after that, and moved all the way through high school, and had a lot of fun, played a lot of dances, and unless you want to take it
Well,
from here.
I
but
want
we-
y'all to tell us about the contest y'all were in and y'all went to, I believe it was Jackson?
Yeah, Laurel.
Laurel, excuse me, Laurel. Can y'all tell us a little more about that?
Back in those days, there were so many bands. I mean, every town had a band.
Everybody
garage
had
band.
At least one rock band. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, that was,
So y'all's was a rock band.
yeah, rock and roll part, well, we, you know.
You could call us a garage band.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. But we, but by this time, this was the 11th grade, and we got good. Well, we thought we were pretty good, so you go ahead and tell it.
And so anyway, they had, who was it, JC's in different towns had a concert or competition. And we went through a couple of those, and I think it was something like 67 bands to start with.
76.
What is it, 76?
Yeah,
Okay.
you had to compete on a local level, then they narrowed it down to maybe 10 or 12 bands were at the,
And
at the
then,
competition.
and then August of our junior year, maybe, that's when they had the final in Laurel, Mississippi. And we went down to that, and our band came in third in the state.
Wow.
And so it was a big deal for us. They had a lot of good bands down there, and a lot of fun, and it was just a beginning for us.
Exactly.
Oh.
So do you all think that Bubba set it off and that's why y'all got third place?
Bubba's a good singer, and he's a good front man.
Oh,
And
okay.
as you can tell, he can fill in the gap. If you're tuning your guitar, Bubba had about a 3-minute
Yeah.
joke or whatever.
Did that
You didn't say he could fill in the gaps with what, though?
Did it
And
become
speaking-
scary at times?
And get this, when we were getting ready to play, I think I drew the straws, and we didn't know where we wanted to be. We knew we didn't want to be one, we didn't want to be last. We were kind of in the middle, and we got ready to play, and we were on stage, and guess what? Charlie's nose started bleeding.
No.
Drip right on that snare drum. So they had to cancel us for a little while. They had to take him to the hospital and give him some kind of shot.
Got a shot, got it back.
Got back, and we played last, which was best.
Wow.
And so we
Lasting
came on
impression.
and we blew them away and had a great time. Had a lot of people from Kosciusko there. And it
They
was some-
introduced us as the Crusaders and the Nosebleeders or something like
He,
that.
when we came back to do the second set, he introduced us from Kosciusko, Mississippi as the Nosebleeders. But we were real optimistic because we were the youngest band there. All these other bands were like seniors in high school. And we were juniors and sophomores. I was, man, we're gonna come back next year. Everybody that got above us, we're gonna come back. And they had some good bands. They had a guy, a band from Boonville, did all this Beach Boy harmony stuff. The suckers were good. But we were real excited. We were gonna go back the next year. Well, the JCs didn't get together or something. They didn't do it, so we didn't go. But it was nice, and we had a big time.
We built off that though. Like I say, everybody played in bands. After that, in college, in the summertime or whatever, Bubba played with a good group up at Ole Miss, Uncle Sam. And then when school was out, I mean, everybody graduated and got married. That's when we decided again. Now, they had a class reunion here in Kosciusko. The Cavaliers played for them. That was a group of older than us that had a band. And we said, we can do this. And so we got back together, and it was not good first practice or two. And so we made some adjustments. And after that, we played for our class reunion. And we didn't have a name. We knew we didn't want to be called the Crusaders again, because just back in high school. So Jeffrey Morgan came up with the name. He said, let's call ourselves Class Reunion. And it stuck. And we played, I can't tell you how many times. We've been to more weddings than anybody in Kosciusko. That's bar
Good
none.
times.
I guarantee we've played over 300 receptions. You know, that's just weddings, not counting all the other places we played. But it's carried us a lot of places we couldn't get in
That's right.
on our own. So,
I know we played for, and once again, Cheek and Charlie started, just like they started Crusaders. They started Class Reunion. because I was 33 years old at the time, and Gail, my wife said, now, you know, you got a reputation as becoming a lawyer, you know.
Can't be in that rock and roll
And then a
band.
few years I did it, and it wasn't long for a lot of people our age were doing bands. But I don't know of one that's been together longer. I mean, we played together for 37 years.
Wow.
The class reunion part. But it was really time for us to break up. But I got a call last week playing in Orange Beach, Florida next year. But it's time. But we played that, and then they played in college. I played in college. So we played a lot. But I think we play in 10 states.
9, well, I can't,
Okay,
it'll
well,
be 10.
If we go to Orange Beach and play in Florida, they'll make 10.
No, we played in Florida.
But you know, Bubba never forgets a face, and he remembers everybody. You know, I mean, fraternity brothers. You know, he meets at these parties, and
Wow.
it just builds off that. And we see a lot of people we haven't seen in so many years. It's been good.
Wow.
We've had some funny times.
It's been the biggest part of our lives. I can say if any one unit or anything, was the class reunion Crusaders. It's been a part of our lives as much as our family, basically.
Wow.
That's really,
Yeah,
that's really neat.
And the success was we all got along.
Mm-hmm.
We could argue, but we never fought. And where most bands break up,
Right.
we never did. We had good harmony between all of us, and we all loved each other. And
And the common denominator here is that all started right there
right
at Kosciusko High.
That's right.
Kosciusko High.
Pretty cool.
That is cool.
Junior high.
Wow. Can you hold
Started
up
off.
your album and let us get a picture on?
I started this in 65 or 64 when I started writing it.
Wow.
I think it's 65. Yeah.
65.
So neat.
Yeah.
That is so neat.
I kept up. Back in those days, I kept up with all the dances, how much money we made. you know,
Wow.
$20,
Yeah.
$30, 65, good dance. I do it.
So how did y'all split that up?
Well, we had our manager got his 10%. Owen Oliver was our manager.
Oh, I love it. Of course.
I mean, we had a good group of guys that helped us and, do everything. And so it's good. It's funny to read this.
That's neat. Well, we have one burning question that we like to ask. Do you know the words to Kazi High?
Let me answer that. One of the reunions we played for several of these reunions where it's like 9 or 10 or 12 classes. And at one of them, Mr. Evans, Ernest Evans, would get on that PA system every morning and say, "May I have your attention, please, for these announcements?" So before the band started playing, I grabbed the mic and I said, "May I have your attention, please, for these announcements?" Just like on the step. So we did that. But then one of them sort of made an announcement too. And then I said, "All rise while we sing Kazi High." So we sang Kazi High at one of these reunion parties. I mean, everybody stood up, everybody sang it. I don't know, did we play any music to it or just,
No,
we sang
we
it,
did not.
sang the words. And
I see.
so we did, and when I say we wrote Kazi High, we did not. But when I was in the 5th, 6th grade under Miss Teal, our class we wrote a song. The words, I don't know who put it to music. So at that time it was West Side School, and our class wrote the lyrics to that song. I'm sure they were buried with Miss Teal. We did write the lyrics pretty good.
Well, one part of our success in high school was Mr. Evans giving those announcements. Wherever we were playing that weekend, he would announce it over the PA system.
Wow.
Dance at the Pavilion, dances by the Crusaders, and he would There was nothing to that, it was okay in those days.
Yeah,
Wow.
just encourage it.
Oh, yeah, it's good
And
advertising.
that's good advertisement and
Yeah.
bringing the student body
Yeah.
together and
Yeah, wherever
Coming
we played,
in
they
here.
announced it.
that is awesome.
I tell you, one of the biggest crowds we ever played for, and we never played out of state in high school. We played in state and we local stuff. But in high school, we played for a homecoming dance at Ethel High School. And when we got there, we were playing for the game. And so anyway, when we got there, the whole gymnasium was just, the stands were full of people. Man, they had all the parents there, they had the kids there. I've never counted so many. We just counted, we just kept counting money, you know. We were gonna go to the Cambridge shop and buy new clothes, we were gonna make something.
And on Friday night too, the band, we were playing in some other town, Louisville.
That's the
Yeah.
night that Mr. McCauley wouldn't let us out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we just got there in time.
Yeah.
All right, I want you to tell that
Oh, I
story.
didn't get through.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Bob.
Oh,
So
yeah.
anyway, we were just counting up all this money, and so anyway, we said, how much money? And Owen was the manager. He said, $57. I said,
No, it's
57.
27 or 37.
Oh, whatever. We come up with 10 different figures at our age now. But anyway, so I said, what about? He said, man, they let the football team in free.
Their escorts.
The whole court got in free, the escorts, the car driver, everybody and his brother got in free.
You would have thought we were the Beatles when we came in, because it looks like the whole place just came in a roar, but the band was there. We flew in, got on stage, and we knew we were going to make a lot of money that night. It was packed.
Now, is that the night you were telling us about,
Yes,
Charlie?
Mr. McCauley didn't like us being in rock and roll bands.
Okay.
And we played Louisville that particular night in football, and being in the band, we had an agreement out of it that he was gonna let us out at the end of halftime after we marched our show, that he's gonna let us out. Well, he didn't. He would not let us out, and we were late getting to that job. But you would have thought, as like Bo said, we were the Beatles, because we came in, they were crowds of just, yeah, one of our finest moments till we counted the bottle. Till we counted how much money we had, it was one of our finest moments.
Wow.
That's a good story.
Wow. That is awesome.
Well, gentlemen, we have thoroughly been highly entertained with your story. Just to know the history and the background of, the music, how it brought you guys together as friends, how that love of music brought our community together, because I didn't know about the Crusaders, but when I heard class reunion, I knew I wanted to go hear the band. So
Yes.
thank you all for that passion that you have had over the years and that you continue to have for music. And hopefully we'll have a big thing up in our new auditorium with you guys in it and just showing off our alumni.
Thank you very much.
It means a lot.
Really enjoyed it.
It means a lot.
So much.
We appreciate it.
I've been entertained like this in a
Yes,
long
in
time.
a long time. Enjoyed it. And we want to say to you also, once a whippet, always a whippet.